Very nice work, Elijah. This is such a special piece, right? Because it's, first of all, it's so beautiful, and then it's also very special because it's so hard. It just sounds, all these pieces that sound so gorgeously, right? But it's so difficult to do right. I wonder, do you know the history of this piece? Do you know where it comes from? Glinka wrote a set of songs, I think 12 songs, that are grouped under a title of Farewell to St. Petersburg. And this is one of those songs. And Balakirev thought it was so beautiful, and why not do something a la Liszt, you know, the way Liszt did all the transcriptions, and pick up that song and make it into a beautiful yet pretty tricky piano piece. But the main thing to remember throughout as we practice, and it's very difficult because of just how technically challenging it is to never forget that it's a song. And because it's a song, we need to imagine what it would sound like in, you know, with a very good singer singing it. And the song, and then we need to know what the song is about. Do you know? Tell me. Well, how about I'll tell you a little bit about it. Yeah. The lyrics of this song have to do with the image, the oral image of hearing a song in the distance. And that's what the opening is. Hearing a song in the distance that you're not sure where it's coming from or who sings it. And then it's carried by the wind throughout the field, somewhere in the fields. And then the song goes on to talk about how we don't know exactly who's singing it, and more importantly, we don't know for whom they sing it. But it's just so beautiful. And towards the end of the song, the text says something to the extent of, we don't know who it's for, but we are sure that as the wind takes it across the fields, the person that it's dedicated to will hear it. I mean, it's just beautiful, right? It's a beautiful image that it creates. And I think it's so important to know the message of the original song by Glinka, so that we can portray that as to the best of our ability. So in my opinion, based on the song, I've always interpreted the opening, the introduction, as we start to hear that song out of nowhere. And but then, what's this? It's the lark, but it's the wind taking it. So I think this can be a little slower, this needs to move a little bit and be very, very light. So let's try that with that kind of imagery. So the song is coming, we start hearing it, it's already been happening. Can you move it a little more in these two bars? Try again. think that's the imagery that I will try to portray for the audience. Even if they don't know the story, if I don't tell them at first what it is, it's still clear that there are two elements to it that are related, of course. Okay? So that's one thing. I want to talk to you about the rolled chords a little bit. The tricky part about rolled chords is that we roll them from the bottom. The tricky part about that is that we tend to drop our hand into the first note, and as soon as we do that, we kind of dampen the momentum of. This is supposed to help us move up, right, like chimes. But if the first note is too heavy, then it's very hard to do that. So you want to place the hand there and focus on the thumb. I noticed you do it with two hands. You do all of them with two hands? Two notes in the right hand? Okay, that's fine. So then focus on the right hand. Then the left hand is nothing. Another tricky thing about this introduction, and we have that in many romantic piano pieces, is that we have a theme that is interrupted by something else, and then it comes back to the theme, right? And it's tricky to remember where we left it to know where we pick it up. So we have and then so it's very important to practice it like I just did and create one phrase of those 6 bars. Can you do that? And show me how you phrase it. Which one do you think is more or less? And you don't need to tell me, just show me in your playing. The second one more, or the third one? Yeah, so that's something that I think you want to explore, practice, so that we hear some sort of continuity with those interruptions, of course, but we want to hear some sort of continuity in your phrasing of those 3 parts of that phrase, right? And I think or whatever the chord is, right? It's an interesting chord. So you want to decide where you take the phrase. So let's take it again from actually before we do that, the same concept that I mentioned, I think, already to the other 2 students, to each of them I'll have to mention to you. When we come out of a long note, and that's even more so when we play very softly, we need to be very careful with how we play, right? That's what can happen. Be careful with that in every part, in every phrase. Okay, let's have it from the beginning and think about while you're playing that, keep in mind where you left this phrase so you can pick it up in the same place. Nice. little more. Okay, you can't play again the same concept, right? A little more on the long notes. But in my opinion, if you're gonna decrescendo there, which I agree that you should, I think then you need to grow into the C a little bit. Because it's the last one, you want to. Okay, and now we go into the next thing. So let's talk about, I think your right hand here works because it's single notes. Once you move here, there is a little bit of an issue with the balance because we have single notes in the top that need to sing, and we have a lot of notes and chords in the left hand that need to be quiet. And that's very difficult to do. So I think you need a little more weight arm weight in your right hand. You tend to play a little bit with your arms suspended like this. Like that. Let's try this. Place your left hand on your right arm like this. And your right hand on the keyboard. And then allow your left arm to rest on like a hanger. So that the weight of this arm pushes down on the other, and then grab onto the keys like this. No, that's not more. Really grab the keys. Now you do it. You do it now. You're losing it after 2 notes. We need. Have you ever been rock climbing? But you've watched someone do it. When you hang on, because you don't have much to grab onto, so it's the fingertips alone, and you're hanging on for your life with your fingertips. That's what you need to do here. In fact, give me your right hand, grab my fingers, and relax your arm, but not the fingertips. Hold on to it. So if you let go, you're gonna fall. So your life depends on it. Relax your shoulder. There. Do you feel that weight of your arm and the strength in the fingertips? That's how you want to play. Okay? Try. Much better. But in context, when I imagine all these chords going on underneath, we are not going to hear that. So you need to play even more. More. No. Elijah, more from the first note. Good. Okay, now left hand. We have bass, and then we have. I think it helps if you go up like that with each, and you don't leave the keys. Try the left hand alone. Good. Try to get softer with each. Getting louder on this. That's why if you go up like this and you don't use so much finger articulation, then it will work. That, continue. Do the left hand. A little more bass. So, but we want the balance when you come in. Otherwise, we are not going to hear the right hand. So much more in the right hand. Think that the right hand is pretty much forte, but a warm forte, like a singer. Because if a singer comes on stage, again, it's a song. The singer is not going to. Can you imagine a Russian singer coming and? They're never going to do that, right? They're going to open up and sing for the entire Bolshoi theater. Okay. Let's move it a little bit. Now, don't get soft on the. You lose it. You are doing. Why? Every note. Like I told you how, let's chillax, not so much of this, and let's try it just a hair faster, so that we can get a little more flow. I know you see piano. That's a problem with dynamics. The way I think about dynamics, and I encourage my students to think about dynamics, whatever we see in the score is the average. It's like math. That's the average between whatever the melody is, it needs to be one or even two dynamic levels higher, and whatever is supporting accompaniment, one or two dynamics lower. So because it says piano here, it's like in a Chopin nocturne, right? We are not going to play. Are we going to play that? No. And so on, right? It's the same thing here. So this needs to be pianissimo, very light, and actually, let's go from here, the second phrase. Forte in the right hand. That's not forte, Elijah. There you go. That's why we want it a little, just a hair faster, and so that it's moving, and then when in a place like this where you want to take a little bit of time, you can do it very, very convincingly, versus playing much slower, and then when you take time, it just feels like we are losing the pulse and the time, okay? We'll have to stop soon, but I want to talk about this because it's so hard, right? Can you play that so that everybody knows what we are talking about? Just the first bar. Okay, so here we have the theme, alternating notes. One note is with the pinky, one is with the thumb, one is with the pinky, one is with the thumb, and then in between all sorts of passage work. The only thing that I want to emphasize to you is the importance of practicing just this. And then the left hand comes in the mix too. Can you do that? Very good. I would use 4-3-2. Because if you use the thumb, it's very uncomfortable, right? And of course, that's hard enough, but you are doing a decent job. Because of the discrepancy in intensity and weight in the pinky versus the thumb, we cannot play those just from the fingers. We need to use the arm. So, because then it doesn't matter which finger plays. And now try to achieve that. Again, you want to, let's think forte in the melody and piano in everything else. Slower. It's good. I don't know that I would give so much there. Just for the sake of the melody, let's keep it to everything else very, very soft. It's hard. I see now what you're doing. I think what you need gesture-wise is to go deep into the melodic notes, and then as you go up, you play the other. See? Do you see what I'm doing? You play everything in one position. I go down and then up. Together. I still hear too much of the other extraneous. Also, again, if we move it a little bit, I think that makes it easier. Can you try that? Let's try. Relax. It's fine if you can't find the notes, but just let me help you. On the right hand, and I know that's what you mostly practice because it's so hard. But if we don't hear the tune, then it's not the song, right? So we need to always remember that it's a song, and that means we need to bring out the melody and to sing it with our hands through the piano. Okay, all right, good job. Thank you to the three of you who played for me, putting up with my teaching.